What is going on in the NBA right now? We just had a crazy opening night slate where almost every single NBA team has played so far, but it feels like that's not even the biggest news right now because on the morning of October 23rd, Shams reported and Pablo Torre that Terry Rozier was being arrested for illegal gambling. Now, Terry Rozier has been in rumors before that he was getting investigated by the DOJ, by the NBA, for basically what Jonte Porter did. A bunch of people took his unders on his stat lines and he exited the game with a fake injury so those unders would hit, which is illegal. And he didn't play in their season opener against the Orlando Magic, but he gets arrested this morning, which is crazy. He's in a court right now in Florida. We have no idea what these ramifications are going to be. It's just not a good look for the NBA. This one wasn't as shocking as the next one though, because around an hour later, it was reported that Chauncey Billups, yes, the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, was also getting arrested for being involved in illegal gambling. Now, this right now isn't being reported that Chauncey Billups threw games as a head coach, but it's being linked to an illegal poker operation tied to the mafia. So he's in court right now in Portland. He literally coached against the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. This one came out of left field. At least Terry Rozier has been reported before that he was going to get investigated. So this one wasn't as shocking, especially when Pablo Torre tweeted out a couple hours earlier that the DOJ and the district attorney in New York was going to be making a big announcement and making some big arrests today. But when this came out about Chauncey Billups, everybody was shocked. Nobody saw this coming whatsoever. I feel like we're about to find so much more out. And it's crazy too, because I was going to start off this video talking about Victor Wembanyama, what he did last night. But we are on day 3 of the NBA season, and Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups have been arrested for illegal gambling, as well as Damon Jones, who was a former Cavs assistant and an NBA player, and he was arrested for giving away inside information on NBA games to bettors. Now, that one is fascinating as well, because he's not even involved with the NBA right now. So we still don't know what's going on with Malik Beasley. Apparently, that could still happen, where we're going to figure out what's going to go down there. But a wild storyline has surfaced on the 3rd day of the NBA season, which has already been a crazy one so far. All right, so now let's talk about NBA games, what I intended to do for today's video. And we have to start off with what Victor Wembanyama did last night against the Dallas Mavericks. This was a primetime ESPN game following up the Cavs and the Knicks. And man, did it not disappoint. The script writers were cooking when they said we're going to have Cooper Flagg's debut go up against Victor Wembanyama. We'll get to Cooper Flagg later, but you got to talk about what Wemby did. It felt like every single play he made was a mind-blowing move after mind-blowing play that you just had never seen before, especially for somebody that's moving like he's 7'5" out there. Wemby finished this game with 40 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 blocks. He was a plus 31 on the floor in the San Antonio Spurs 33-point victory over the Dallas Mavericks on the road. Wemby, in 30 minutes, went 15 of 21 from the field, 9 of 11 from the free throw line, 1 of 2 from three-point range, which was the thing that Wemby was doing a ton to start off last year, taking a lot of threes and not being involved in the paint. But it was completely opposite to start off the season, as Wemby, like I said, made highlight play after highlight play. It was just maybe a step back jumper over Derek Lively, an insane rejection on Anthony Davis, making Derek Lively look like he's 6 foot tall out there as a rim protector around him. He was getting guys in the air, cutting, slashing, reverse dunk, sizing up Derek Lively and hitting a step back 4-point play. This may be Victor Wembanyama's league, and this is something we were talking about all offseason long, and it felt like you couldn't be too high on Wemby, given the potential that he had coming out of his first year and a half in the NBA. Last year, he was going to win Defensive Player of the Year and probably finish on an All-NBA first team as a 21-year-old sophomore, so there was so much hype going into a healthy Wemby in year number 3. And it looks like he was playing against some high schoolers and college players out there. And these are some NBA Hall of Famers he's going up against. Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, they're going to be in the NBA Hall of Fame one day. Cooper Flagg, the incumbent #1 overall pick. Basically, every player on this Mavericks team has played in an NBA Finals before. And Wemby was just making it look way too easy out there. And this was a statement win for the San Antonio Spurs, who didn't even have De'Aaron Fox in this one. But it just feels like Wemby is unstoppable right now. I don't know how you stop Wemby whatsoever. He's going to have to get double teamed constantly, and you're going to have to make somebody like Stephon Castle beat you, who had a good game last night against the Dallas Mavericks, or somebody like Harrison Barnes, or Devin Vassell, or Keldon Johnson, because, man, the league may actually be in trouble given what this 21-year-old is doing. Just a sidestepping, banking floater shot, being able to dunk without even jumping. It's just unfair when we're watching Victor Wembanyama, and it's just like an elite offensive player, an elite defensive player, and the sky is the limit for Wemby. Could he win MVP this year? Could the Spurs be a top 3 seed because of Wemby? Could he rival Shea and Jokic and Giannis for the best player in the world at the end of the season? He's probably going to win DPOY. He's going to end up on an All-NBA and All-Defensive team, probably start in the All-Star game. And I don't even think we're being too overreactionary on Wemby because we expected this. We've seen it in the past. But man, did he have one of the best highlight tapes I've ever seen on opening night. I tweeted out that it may never be topped. It's probably going to be topped by Wemby in his next game. But wow, you could not have asked for a better start as a Spurs fan, as a Wemby fan, because the league, yeah, may actually be in trouble. And then I'll talk about some of the rookies that have shined and maybe didn't shine. Cooper Flag did struggle in his NBA debut. He didn't get his first career bucket till the third quarter. He ended up going 4 of 13 from the field. He missed his only 3. He had 10 rebounds. He had 10 points, 3 turnovers, and was a minus 29 out there. Now, it came out before the game started that Cooper Flag was going to be their starting point guard, which we saw a little bit in the preseason. We know Kyrie Irving is out for the first few months of the season, so they opted for Cooper Flag as the starting point guard instead of D'Angelo Russell. And I was intrigued by this. I thought Cooper Flag made nice reads in the preseason. Obviously, at Duke, there's a reason why he went number 1. But yeah, he did struggle as a point guard in this game. The Spurs handled it perfectly, making him uncomfortable, letting other people beat him. Because at some point, Jason Kidd was just like, yeah, we're going to let PJ Washington try to initiate the offense, or Najee Marshall whenever they're in. Because it kind of got ugly out there. This may be Cooper Flag's worst game of his rookie season. He's an 18-year-old on opening night going up against Victor Wembanyama and a good San Antonio Spurs team. It does feel like the Dallas Mavericks have a weird dynamic right now and may have some trial and error throughout the year, especially until Kyrie Irving gets back, because they do lack some floor spacing. They did go 42% from 3 last night against the Spurs, but I feel like it wasn't pretty. Klay Thompson went 1 of 5 from 3. You feel like you're not having the best spacing out there with Derek Lively and Anthony Davis, especially when Derek Lively got into foul trouble. But hey, that's not going to happen all the time because you're going up against Victor Wembanyama. I do feel like the Dallas Mavericks are going to have a lot of things to figure out. I think Cooper Flag made great defensive plays. I thought he ran well in transition. He didn't get a single assist for being the starting point guard. He didn't play good. That's an objective fact. He did not play good in his NBA debut, especially with the expectations he had going into night number 1, but he's an 18-year-old kid. He's going to be just fine. I actually really enjoyed what Dylan Harper did in this game as well. Everybody was talking about Wemby, and rightfully so, but Dylan Harper ended this game as a +5. He had 15 points, went 7 of 14 from the field. He knocked down a 3 in this game. He had 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He looks comfortable out there as well. Him and Stephon Castle played a great game on opening night, and the Spurs just have a great problem in their backcourt. Castle was definitely the second best Spur, but you can make an argument that Harper was the third best Spur, and this is all without their max point guard not even playing yet in De'Aaron Fox. I really wonder what Mitch Johnson is going to do when De'Aaron Fox comes back. How is he going to allocate those minutes? Castle played 29 minutes. Harper played 23. You could still play all 3 of these point guards close to 25 to 30 to 35 minutes a night. But yeah, Dylan Harper definitely looked like the better rookie. He had lower expectations than Cooper Flag going into night number 1. It's just like, yeah, the Spurs are the talk of the town because of Wemby and the others that followed. And the Spurs may be one of the top teams in the West this season. I have to talk about another NBA debut. One of the greatest debuts this century and even all time was VJ Edgecomb's NBA debut for the Philadelphia 76ers, where he had 34 points. Yeah, VJ Edgecomb had 34 points in his NBA debut. He goes 13 of 26 from the field, 5 of 13 from 3. He knocked down 5 threes in his NBA debut for somebody that is not a consistent three-point shooter. We saw the struggles at Baylor last year, but he looked extremely comfortable on the road in Boston at the TD Garden, where the 76ers were down 86 to 75 going into the fourth quarter, and Edgecomb played 42 minutes in this one. Yeah, Tyrese Maxey was probably the best player on the floor. He had 40 points, but you have to talk about VJ Edgecomb's debut, and I just talked about the Spurs having a great problem in their backcourt with Fox, Castle, and Harper. The 76ers have the same thing. Quentin Grimes, Maxey, Edgecomb, and last year's rookie standout, Jared McCain, is just going to be a great thing to have in Philadelphia, but Edgecomb looked confident. He was as athletic as advertised, and the 76ers got a good one, man. Maybe this is his best performance of the year, who knows? But what a win for the 76ers to win on the road in a game which Joel Embiid struggled a ton in. He had a 20-minute restriction in this game. He had 4 points, was a -16 out there, 1 of 9 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3. Did not look comfortable whatsoever, but it's Embiid's first game in the regular season in almost a year. He's going to be fine, and at least if he's not fine, you have something to be excited about if you're a Sixers fan. That's all their fans want, is for them to be competitive and the young guys to stand out. Maxey stood out. Edgecomb stood out. Quentin Grimes didn't get off to the best start, but still had an impactful game, even though the box score may not show that. And I was really shocked that the 76ers ended up pulling this one out. I thought Jaylen Brown was a great passer in this game. Derek White hit some really difficult shots. Peyton Pritchard had 2 chances at the end to win this game for the Celtics. But yeah, VJ Edgecomb has the most points in an NBA debut for a rookie this century. More than LeBron James, more than Victor Wembanyama, more than Anthony Davis. 34 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Hats off to VJ Edgecomb, a true debut for the ages, and the 76ers and their fans have to be thrilled about this one. Now I want to go to the biggest shocker of the night. The Utah Jazz, a team with the lowest win projection in the NBA going into the year, the lowest win projection any team has had since the Trust the Process Sixers, beat the LA Clippers by 21 at home, 129-108. They outscored the Clippers 78-47 at the end of the first half. It was one of the more efficient first halves of basketball we may see all year. And this is for a team that is supposed to be bad. Lauri Markkanen looked extremely comfortable out there. Walker Kessler knocked down 2 threes, and he was just a monster in the paint. Bright, sensible, and his score-first mentality was effective in this one. He had 20 points, 4 rebounds, knocked down 3 threes. And this is with Ace Bailey being sick going into the game, so he had a minute restriction as well. And the Jazz went on to shoot 55% from the field, 38% from 3, and 80% from the free throw line. I don't know if they didn't get enough sleep the night before. I don't know if Kawhi is just worried about the aspiration scandal, but yeah, the Clippers really struggled in the first half and pretty much in this whole game. They did not look connected. They didn't really look like they had any chemistry out there, and it looked kind of disoriented. I thought probably the best Clipper was Ivica Zubac. I like what I saw from like John Collins and Brook Lopez off the bench, but it was too little, too late, and I did not expect this game to happen whatsoever. It was a really embarrassing opening night performance for the LA Clippers. Hopefully for them, this is just their worst performance of the year. Get it out of the way now. I'd rather be your worst performance of the year on opening night than your last game of the season, but yeah, shout out to the Jazz. And then I want to jump to the Detroit Pistons Chicago Bulls game, because something I noticed here, especially with Jaden Ivey being hurt for the next month, the Pistons desperately need another shot creator, ball handler, or anything next to Cade Cunningham, because Cade had to play 34 minutes in this game, and when he was on the bench, this was one of the worst offenses that you can imagine for the Detroit Pistons. They really didn't have any fluid movement. Nobody felt comfortable as the shot creator, the initiator, the main playmaker on the roster, and that's something they are missing right now with Jaden Ivey hurt. I jokingly tweeted out that they're going to trade for Lauri Markkanen by Friday. That was one of my bold predictions this year, that they were going to eventually trade for Lauri Markkanen. Maybe it happened sooner than we think. I liked what I saw from Asar Thompson and definitely Ron Holland in this game, but was also kind of shocking that the Pistons lost to the Bulls on opening night. I don't know if Bulls fans are happy with this one, because I know they want to lose games this year, but Matas Buzelis looked apart. Nikola Vucevic looked like prime Dirk Nowitzki out there, maybe helping up that trade value if he's ever going to get traded. But that was one of the things I definitely caught note of opening night here, was the Detroit Pistons definitely need some other shot creator out there. I don't know if Karis LeVert is going to cut it for them. It wasn't a great Tobias Harris or Duncan Robinson debut for the Pistons, so I think it's just something to keep an eye on. Now, the Spurs and the Mavericks were the second game on ESPN. The first game on ESPN was the Knicks and the Cavs, what people are predicting to be an Eastern Conference Finals matchup this season. The Knicks went on to win 119-111 at home, and I loved Mike Brown's debut as the Knicks head coach. He went 11 deep in this game. Trey Jamison got minutes in the first half. Yeah, Trey Jamison, who you may not even have known was on the Knicks. And I will say, I don't think Trey Jamison would have played for the Knicks last year if Josh Hart had a black eye, missing tooth, and maybe a half-torn ACL out there. He was going to play 45 minutes in that game. But Mike Brown trusted the bench, went deep into the rotation, and that made Jalen Brunson and some of the starters fresh for the second half, fresh for the closing stretch, where Jalen Brunson, who was already so good last year in the clutch, could just be a little bit more energized and fresh going into that fourth quarter. Or you could save Karl-Anthony Towns for a little bit, who was playing hurt last night and got into foul trouble early. I thought that was Tyler Kolek's best game as a Knick so far in any game that actually had some meaning to it. Miles McBride looked great and confident out there for the Knicks, and I definitely think he should close games for the Knicks, either over Josh Hart or Mitchell Robinson. I think the Knicks also found something in Ariel Hukporti as a rotational big man, and I absolutely loved Mike Brown's decision to have Mikal Bridges be kind of a de facto point guard at times. Mikal Bridges had 6 assists in this game, and for a lot of the minutes, he was bringing the ball up. He was initiating the offense, something we never saw from Mikal last year under Tibbs. The Knicks didn't have Josh Hart or Mitchell Robinson in this one. The Cavs didn't have Max Strus or Darius Garland, so both teams were banged up. I did think Evan Mobley looked insanely impressive in this one. I think he could take a leap as a shot creator this year and as just an overall scorer. Donovan Mitchell went nuts in that third quarter, but it was just a little too late for the Cavs. It was definitely a game of runs at one point. I feel like if you just went to check out a different game or go to the bathroom, the Cavs were on a 12-0 run. The Knicks were on a 14-0 run. It was just back and forth on runs in this game. The Knicks ended up pulling this one out, which I like to see as a Knicks fan. And the last thing, I'm just a little worried about the Lakers' depth right now. I knew that was going to be somewhat of an issue going into the year, and it was prevalent when we were watching that game against the Golden State Warriors. We know that LeBron is going to be out for a few more weeks. Luka played great. Reeves played good when he was not in foul trouble. But who else is stepping up on this team? We kind of know what Rui Hachimura is at this point in his Lakers tenure, same with Gabe Vincent or Jackson Hayes. It's going to be boom or bust every single night. We didn't really get an impressive debut for DeAndre Ayton or Marcus Smart in this game. Jared Vanderbilt was very bad in his 12 minutes. And this Lakers team, yes, is without LeBron James, and they're obviously going to look better when LeBron comes back in a few weeks, but we know what the depth is on this roster. I don't think they're getting anything out of Christian Koloko. Dalton Knecht was a DNP coach's decision, and he was their first round pick last year. And when you're talking about some of the top teams in the Western Conference and how deep they are, I don't think the Lakers match up with those teams in terms of quantity and quality on their roster. The Lakers are very top heavy right now with Reeves, LeBron, and Luka. I don't know if they're going to end up making a move at a big man position. I think Ayton is a fine offensive big man, but when you're playing him out there for almost 35 minutes a night, you're definitely going to get a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of head scratching plays on both ends of the floor. And Luka's already playing through an injury right now, and this is just not what you want to see if you're a Lakers fan. I think they're going to be fine this year. It's game one. I don't want to overreact, but one of my question marks about them going into the year was their bench, was their quality of depth on their roster. And my main takeaway from their loss on opening night against Golden State was this bench is not one of the best in the Western Conference, and you need that when we get later in the year. Injuries are going to become more prevalent. And when your second best player is going to be 41 in December, it would be wise to have a good amount of quality depth on your roster. It was actually just a wild night in the NBA to start off the year. You guys saw my thoughts on the opening night games between the Thunder and the Rockets and the Lakers and the Warriors the other day. These were just kind of thoughts from opening night that I wanted to talk about. Mainly, I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about Wemby and what he can actually be this year, what his leap can be in year number 3, but that got sidelined a little bit when we found out that Chauncey Billups got arrested and Terry Rozier got arrested, and who knows, maybe somebody else is going to get arrested by the time you guys see this video. And yeah, if there's anything that I didn't talk about that you guys wanted me to mention, let me know down below what your thoughts are to start off the season. Basically, every team has played so far besides the Denver Nuggets and the Indiana Pacers. On Sunday, I'm going to have a video talking about all 30 teams, maybe an overreaction from you guys to start off the year. I do think it's going to be a special one. We got the finals trophy back on the NBA courts. The new broadcast makes it feel really new here in the NBA season, and we already have a scandal to start off the year. So let me know what you guys think about the NBA season so far, about the arrest, about Wemby. Let me know down below. Hit that thumbs up if you guys did enjoy the video. Subscribe if you are not already. I got some exciting news coming out for you guys next week. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace.